Hi, I'm Eva Mezo, a minister at First United Church in Waterloo. Have you ever run out of gas? Have you ever been on the road and all of a sudden you realize your tank is empty? Now, technically, this shouldn't be happening to us nowadays because there's usually some sort of gauge that tells us we have this many kilometers left, but I can assure you that we actually have more kilometers than what it says. So there's always a little game to play there of whether we're going to make it to our destination or if we have to pull off the road and fill our tanks. The story of the 10 bridesmaids in the gospel message in the Gospel of Matthew tells us about 5 wise bridesmaids and 5 foolish ones. And their job is to light the way of the bridegroom when he arrives. And the bridegroom's late, and so they've all fallen asleep. And then all of a sudden he arrives, and they're awakened, and the 5 foolish bridesmaids realize that they don't have enough oil to light their lamps. And so off they go in the middle of the night to find the oil. And by the time they get back, essentially the party has started and they're not able to get in. There's a natural human consequence to them not being there and not lighting the way for the bridegroom. Here it's about resources in this story, in this example. But I'm wondering if we try to adapt this to our time, whether really what we struggle with when we aren't doing our jobs, when we aren't lighting the way in the world, whether really what's lacking is a sort of spiritual lack of resources. We spread ourselves too thin. We try to get too much done. When we sort of pull back and we sort of look at the earth from far away, when it looks just like a little marble of green and blue, what is it all about? Why is everybody hurrying so much? Why is there so much fear, so much domination, so much consumption, coercion, multitasking? Are these things really helping us on our journey? Are they helping us light the way in the world? The answer, or the counterbalance to this sort of frenzy that God provides, is really quite boring. We've heard it many times. Many people sort of roll their eyes and sort of turn off the channel at this point. But the answer is Sabbath. In order to become refreshed and renewed and have the energy for the long haul so that we can live out the fullness of who we are, is to take time, is to enjoy what we have received in creation. And there are many ways we can do that, just as there are many different ways that we live out this light that we live in the world. I have some sister-in-laws that are very inspiring. One of them has 3 young children under the age of 7, and she wakes up early on most days and she journals. Everybody else is still asleep, and she just writes and thinks and reflects and takes that little bit of time, that Sabbath time. Another sister-in-law has a son who was born with a lot of cognitive challenges, doesn't sleep through the night. He's a teenager now. And one of the ways that she's made it through for the long haul so that she could be that mother that provides the love and care that her family needs is to go on retreats. She regularly makes a point to go away Sometimes it's been a silent retreat. Sometimes she's met a friend. I think her next trip it has her older son and his new wife joining them for a retreat. The story ends today with the bridegroom closing the door on the foolish bridesmaids and not letting them in. This is a cautionary tale. This isn't God saying no. This is God saying, wake up. Wake up and notice what you are missing. Notice what happens when you don't have the resources, the spiritual resources, to live your lives fully. You are left out in the darkness, in the cold. And so the good news is there's time. There's time to make that change. And even better, God is the source of that change. God is the source of that hope. God is the source of that love that gives us the strength to sustain us on our journeys so that we can be that light in the world. Amen.